Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stella Woman magazine, the magazine that brings you thriving women's stories, knowledge, and experiences so that you too can learn one or two things, be inspired, make a change, and thrive in your life. We are here to change perspectives, to reveal possibilities so that you too can actualize in your life and make a change, make an impact. We move knowledge from one woman to another across the globe because we believe knowledge is power. Knowledge is a way in which we can make a change. But we know we have to take action. It's just not accumulating knowledge, but it is actually taking action. So we are here to make that happen. This is our way of ensuring that we have a better and a brighter world. And today we are very, very fortunate and honored to have an amazing, thriving Stella Woman. Because my name is Stella Kikoyo and I am the editor-in-chief of the Stella Woman magazine. So the thriving woman that we have is Ellie Shefi. Ellie, welcome to the show. Welcome to the magazine.
Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here.
Very good, very good. We are in London. And Ellie, where are you right now?
I am in Zurich, Switzerland at the moment.
Oh, very good, very good. So Ellie is many, many things, and I got the opportunity of finding her during the Women Changing the World Awards, and I just knew the moment I talked to her, the moment I saw, I thought this is a star I needed to bring to your attention, to all our subscribers, to all the women who want to make a change. She is going to tell us more about herself, the things that she does. You're going to be blown away because I was blown away. So, Ellie, take it off and tell us more about yourself, please.
Well, as you said, my name is Ellie Shefi, and I do a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats. So I have 35 years in education, everything from teaching elementary school, junior high, high school, college test preparation, law school test preparation, all the way up to being the dean of a law school and the dean of a school of criminology and criminal justice. I have over 30 years in entrepreneurship, building not only my own companies, but helping governments, universities, nonprofits, and entrepreneurs alike to build their businesses so they can go out there and have an impact. I also have over 22 years in law, specifically in civil rights law, human rights law, constitutional rights law. So the quest for justice that has, played a really critical part in everything I've done. And then as an entrepreneur myself and owning a publishing house, uh, and being a 10-time international best-selling author and a media host and all the things, I really bring that all together. I bring together the decades of education, the decades of entrepreneurship and as a strategist and advisor, and the decades of legal expertise to bring it all together to help my clients really have clarity, use their voice, live their mission, build their business, and elevate not only themselves and their families, but their communities and the world at large. So that's a little bit about my backstory of kind of the roads I've taken. But I think the more important aspect and the more interesting aspect for your audience is all the stuff that those roads don't tell you. And that is that I'm also an abuse survivor, a rape survivor, and a domestic violence survivor.
Oh,
I've actually lived in hiding under a fake name. I've eaten out of trash cans and begged restaurants for the food they were throwing away at the end of the night. I am a cancer survivor and a medical miracle
wow.
who has been defying the doctor's death deadlines for over 20 years. And so for me, the titles and the roles and the accolades and the awards and all of the professional lanes and hats that I wear, that's all nice, but it doesn't give the glimpse of really who I am. So when you ask me who I am, I will tell you that I'm a survivor, that I'm a thriver, that I'm a light in this world, that I am a force for good in this world, and that I walk every day in my mission and my passion and my purpose to help others rise.
Wow, 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 wow. I think everybody can get it. Wow. You can hear all of that. Being a survivor, that part of the story I didn't know at all. And thank goodness I told you to really just simply say that, because there's just so much. I just kept wondering, what haven't you done? What haven't you done? And I like that you define yourself as a thriver, as the light, as a person who's here to actually also work with others, help others to get to the other side to thrive. But these are just so many things. An attorney, uh, advisor, a keynote speaker, strategist, a leader, consultant, a trainer, survivor, international best-selling author, award-winning author, all of these things she is. And we are so glad that you spare the time to come and share with us how you got there. How would you got there? So it is really making me think, how are we going to be able to make this really impactful? Let's kick it off by just asking you, because today's theme, the theme for this issue is about playing big and being a person who has survived um, domestic violence, who has survived cancer. This is a notion where we would just be asking about survival, but we're asking about thriving and even playing big. It's taking it to another level. So start off by telling us, how do you come to a place of overcoming?
I think there's a few key tools and strategies and practices that have empowered me to navigate everything I've navigated and rise to the heights that I have. And I would say the first thing is really internalizing, embodying, uh, walking in this statement. Life happens for you, not to you. And when there's an embodiment and a true understanding of, wait a minute, everything that's happening is happening for me, not to me. It allows you to get out of that woe is me, victimhood, negative Nelly, disempowering spiral, and instead change your focus to, wait a minute, how is this? What is this teaching me? How is this serving me? What can I learn here? Where is the blessing in this? Lisa Nichols likes to say sometimes the biggest gifts come wrapped in sandpaper. And I agree, right? May not always feel good, but when we can understand that it's happening for us, and therefore that we have the power to find the blessing, to find the gift, to find the lesson, to find the opportunity for growth, to find the opportunity for healing, then we can use those fires for good, for our own growth, and then to shine light into others. So the first is really that belief of life is happening for me, right? The second is control the controllables. The minute I really decided, look, all I can do is control the controllables, everything shifted because I was no longer susceptible to the external, right? Life is going to life. Things are going to happen. whether it's economics, whether it's politics, whether it's family dynamics, relationship, health. Life is gonna life. And we can't control any of that external. But no matter what, we can control 100% of the time the internal, right? We can control the perspective that we have about something, right? Life happens for me, not to me. We can control our focus, where we put our attention. Are we putting our attention on what's wrong, or are we putting our attention on what's right? Are we putting our attention on pain, or are we putting our attention on growth and possibility? Are we giving our power away by allowing external to dictate how we think, how we feel, how we act? Or are we looking at our internal divining rod, right? And asking, is this authentically me? Is this what I want? Is this my thought? Is this my feeling? Is this my action? Right? Is it really me? Or am I just reacting to the external? Right? So I learned by controlling the controllables to control my perspective, control my focus, control the language that I used, right? The difference between victim and victor, the difference between surviving and thriving, the difference between I have to do something and I get to do something, right? The difference between a problem and an opportunity, right? I learned to control my language. And I learned in the controlling the controllables to be able to walk in gratitude and stay in alignment. So for me, right, those two things were really foundational. And through them and being able to stand in alignment and be authentic and have such clarity of who I am and what I want and how I will show up in the world, that has always allowed me then to use my voice, to show up, to stand up, to speak up, right? To shine my light. It's because I empowered myself through control the controllables, and life happens for me, not to me, right? And inherent in both of those is an unshakable faith, right? It's an unshakable faith that I can walk in my purpose. I can walk in authenticity, that I have clarity, that I can stay authentic and aligned. You become unshakable, you become unbreakable, and you become unstoppable.
Wow. Wow. That's a life masterclass. Okay. I'm almost done. I just feel like, where else can she go? Oh. Oh my goodness, Ellie, thank you so much. Wow. I was just in a live masterclass. So I hope everybody has been able to hear all of these tools. You just have to repeat it. Repeat, listen, listen, listen again. Remember, it doesn't happen for you. I mean, it doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. Remember to empower yourself. Remember that you're going to have to heal and to see that what is it it's teaching you? What is it? How is it serving you? How is it a blessing? How you can transform something that you're feeling the pain and all of a sudden to see it as a blessing. That is a mindset, a strong mindset. Looking at it, you talked about Lisa Nichols saying, yeah, how it's wrapped up in sandpaper, the biggest gifts, yeah, come in this form, but they are going to be a blessing. This was just unbelievable. Thinking about the controllables and those things that you can't control. I think that is similar to the serenity prayer. God, yes, bless you with the ability to know what you can change and what you can't change, and to have the courage to do the things that you can change. Wow, the language for me, that was really powerful. Language, looking out to my language when I'm speaking to myself. Is it a problem or an opportunity? And then you move us to thinking about it in terms of walking in gratitude and alignment. Wow. And not forgetting our focus. Anyway, there was just too much. So much. And this is our only way in which we are going to become unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable. Who doesn't want that? That's the only way you become a stellar woman, really. It is to follow this path. Wow, precisely. She walks in her purpose, authentically knowing who she is. She has clarity of where she's going. Amazing. Who she is and what she wants in the world. And she's able to move to show up and stand in her power and shine her light. Wow. Wow. I think you will all agree this was a masterclass on life. This is all that we need. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, take us even further. Tell us, how do you define success?
Well, I would say that the way that you find success is by being clear on your definition of success. And I would also say that the definition of success changes over our lifetime. So often when we're young and we see people, they have a job, they have a house, they have a car, they're able to travel, they have this lifestyle. And early on, we look at that and say, that's success. I want that, right? And then as we grow and mature through life, and we see, wait a minute, maybe selling your soul is not success. Maybe that doesn't feel good. Maybe building golden handcuffs where all you do is work 24/7 so you can have those things doesn't feel like success, right? Maybe uh well, not maybe. As we grow and our perspective changes, particularly when we start to lose people that we love, when we get to that age where our elders may be passing on, there comes a shift with a redefining for yourself of what does success mean to you. And so for me, I've had many a shift, right? When I was younger, success was all the things that I mentioned, the accolades and the awards and the house and the cars and the this and the that, all that external nonsense, right? Because that's what we're trained to consider success. And as I navigated my health journeys, right? 20 years in hospitals where they said you won't survive the night or you'll be dead in 2 weeks or you've only got 2 months left to live and all of that. Success became walking down the hallway. Success became feeding myself. Success became putting on my shoes, right? Success was completely redefined. And all of a sudden, it didn't have anything to do with accolades and titles and roles and material things, right? And as I continued to age and started to lose people around me, right? Success became the moments of presence, the moments where I could be totally and fully present with them. Success became the ability to make the memories, to spend the time. Success became the quality of my friendships, the quality of my relationships, right? Success became about living every moment fully. And success became about living authentically. So I work with my clients on this one phrase, and at first it sounds a little harsh, but stay with me. Not my monkey, not my circus. It is one of the most powerful concepts that we can embody. And we don't mean it in that harsh, like, I don't care way, right? It ties back into control the controllables. It ties back into your perspective and your priority. It goes back to knowing how to protect your peace so that you can be present, connected, and successful in whatever way success looks to you, right? It's really about protecting your peace, as Trent Shelton says. So, not my monkey, not my circus means, right? Stay in your lane, right? It's the permission we give ourselves to let us be on our own journey and to let each and every other person be on their journey, where we don't try to take responsibility or change them. As Mel Robbins says, let them, right? Just let them. And in that space, it allows you to protect your energy, to protect your peace, to create the space for you to be with yourself and for you to attain success in whatever way that looks for you.
Amazing, amazing. I've loved that. I love that. And thank you very much for expanding on success, that awareness of what success can mean in every moment of life. And given that your life has been expansive in all these shifts, it was well demonstrated what actually success can mean. Just actually feeding yourself can be something to celebrate in that moment. It is success. Amazing. Thank you very much. And looking at it as just those moments, looking at presence, just being present, creating memories, and remembering not my monkey, not my circus. Okay. That is very
So good when anyone else just tries to dump on me or they're complaining and complaining or nothing is good enough for them. I don't try to fix them. I don't try to change their mind, right? I just, oh, not my monkey, not my circus. Like, you do you. This is my, or as Patrick Swayze said from the movie Dirty Dancing from ages ago, this is my dance space. This is your dance space. I'm gonna stay over here in my space, and I'm just gonna let you be you and understand that you're on your own journey, in your own time, in your own way, learning your own lessons with your own definitions and your own perspectives. And I'm gonna stay over here, uh, in protecting my peace and having everything in my world really be controlled and nice and steady through my internal. So success for me these days is internal. It's internal peace, it's internal alignment, it's joy, it's play, it's connection, it's memories. I mean, I took up ballroom dancing at 49, and now I compete all around the world as a competitive ballroom dancer just for fun, just because it makes me laugh and it's play and it's just another way to connect and be present. Yeah, so internal, internal, find your joy, find your peace, and that's success.
that should be success, really. Nothing else, rather than going with what externally is being defined as success. If it doesn't give you joy, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, exactly,
It has
exactly.
internal.
We can't be controlled by external events and circumstances or by other people's opinions or by other people's uh definitions of things, right? Because then we're not in control of our life at all.
That's very
right? We become that ship that just gets, you know, thrown around in the seas instead of being steady and anchored. Life is an internal game, not an external game.
life is yes, it is an eternal game. Okay, so when we look at I'm sure people are asking, but how did she make a shift? I know you've given us all the tools. How did you get back to being the woman that you were, the woman who's playing big at the level you're playing big? Because from being a survivor, cancer survivor, or being a domestic violence, that can just take you down. What is that that you actually really did to yourself, leave alone, okay, including the tools? How did you get to leap to the next stage and perform
Yeah.
whatever you're performing?
Yeah. I used I used all the tools I've shared. I actually used them. I used them every single day. I trained myself in those things, right? Because when I was in hiding, I was so broken, I couldn't even buy something from the grocery store.
Mm,
So I started over from ashes.
mm,
I mean, complete ashes. I could not buy something from the grocery store because nobody told me what to buy, and I could not make a decision independently anymore, right? And so I built this person one day at a time, one decision at a time. I built this person through the exact tools and strategies that I've shared,
mm,
and I would write them down. I'd write them down on sticky notes. I literally would put sticky notes on the coffee maker, on my uh, furniture, on the bathroom mirror, on my laptop screen. I would put it on my cell phone. I'd put it on the car dashboard. I
mm,
would leave myself notes like, what are you learning today? How is this helping you? What are three things you're grateful for? What's going right in your life right now? How can you help someone else today? I mean, I would literally leave myself
yes.
notes to train me
Mm,
to have the mindset, right? To develop those new habits and skills and perspectives, to watch my language, to watch my perspective, to watch the meaning I give events and circumstances, to make sure I'm staying aligned, to make sure I'm clear, right? They're practices, and it didn't happen overnight. It took years, but it took years of consistent practice and using my sticky notes and leaving myself notes on pieces of paper that would go in my purse or my backpack or in the glove compartment of the car. So I would always have them with me. So I would remind myself when old programming wanted to creep in, right? And I made it one day at a time, one decision at a time. Tony Robbins says it is in the moments of decision that your destiny is shaped.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And every single second of every single day gives us an opportunity to make a new decision, to make a new choice, right? And to change. If we don't like something, we have the power to change it, right? We can make a different decision. And one decision leads to the next, leads to the next, leads to the next, right? The action, the momentum comes, the change comes in the micro moments, one little thing at a time. It's not, you don't play big through these massive grandeur, right? And these massive actions. You play big, you get to that point by one moment, and then the next, and then the next, and then the next. And they compound, right? So I got here by being determined, by choosing me, knowing that I was worth it, that my life was worth it, by knowing that I'm walking in a purpose, that I am a miracle in motion, that every single one of us are miracles in motion, that we came here on purpose for purpose, and that it's up to us to walk in that purpose. And here's something that most people don't tell you, but I know from my own journey. You don't just have one purpose, right? Your purpose will change. You have a purpose for different seasons of life. And as you change and as the seasons of your life change, so does your purpose. It expands as you expand. It shifts as you shift. It becomes more aligned as you become more aligned.
That's true.
It becomes deeper as you become more attached to your why, more clear on that purpose, more dedicated and committed to walking in that purpose and shining your light and doing the thing that only you can do in the way that only you can do it. And knowing that you're here to serve. You're here to serve just by being. Service doesn't have to be a doing. It can happen by being the light, being the example, being the joy, being the encouragement, being the accountability partner, right? Being the innovator,
Exactly.
being the space holder, right? Just be you.
Just be
The
you.
world needs you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm so grateful for that because I was just envisioning someone who has just been in the situation that you are in before. They don't see that possibility, but you gave us those steps. And those steps, they don't require to be in cancer, having had cancer, or being, it's any situation where you're so low. Those tools, those steps you've shared of putting post-it notes and knowing it's one decision at a time. I just felt like, wow, that makes a change. As long as you're
Yeah.
consistent and putting those notes there, then doing it. Here, oh my goodness, that was transformational. Thank you so much. And looking at the fact that we are miracles in motion, and also the fact that we are created on purpose for a purpose. I was getting all of those. That was so good. Thank you so much, Ellie. And I would like us to expand on playing big. What to you is this notion of playing big? What do you understand by it?
Well, for me, playing big is being authentic,
Okay.
right? When you are fully aligned and authentic, you are playing big.
Okay.
Here's the thing. When we put qualifiers, small, big, it's relative, right? We don't all have the same definition. But when you are authentically you, that is when you are absolutely unstoppable. And
Okay.
when you are clear on who you are, clear on what you want, right? Clear on who you serve or what your mission and purpose is and how you're going to show up in the world. And then you just take that action, one action at a time. You're playing big, even if no one knows who you are. You're standing in your purpose. You're being authentic. You're being courageous. So many people out in the world just sit there waiting for something to happen to them. They're not out there taking action.
Mm,
Taking action requires courage.
yeah.
And when you are taking that aligned, intentional, courageous action one moment at a time, one day at a time, I think you're playing big. It
Mm,
doesn't have to be being sworn in as a member of the United States Supreme Court Bar by Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself, like I was. It doesn't mean you have to be a 10-time number one international best-selling author or own a publishing house or be a keynote speaker or a media host. Doesn't mean you need to be any of that, right? Doesn't mean you need to have been the dean of a law school or an advisor to governments and university. It doesn't mean any of that. You are playing big when you are being you and you are taking action.
mm,
Playing big can be reading a story to your child
mm.
where you are fully present with them.
Powerful.
right?
Mhm.
Playing big can be planting a tree in an area that's being deforested, right? Playing big can be simply saying hello to somebody on the street that looks sad,
Mhm.
right? It doesn't have to be this huge thing. But if you are being authentic and shining your light and being present and taking courageous action,
Yep.
you're playing big.
You're playing big. Be authentic. Yeah. Be you and take those courageous actions that are aligned to who you are and exactly what you want to do. That is amazing. Maybe before let's look at this. I know that we know that you have received multiple accolades, including Women Changing the World awards presented by the Duchess of York, that's Sarah Ferguson. What does this recognition mean to you personally and professionally?
It means so much. It really does. And, I have had a million accolades and titles and roles. And at this point in my life, to get Thought Leader of the Year on a global scale, to be recognized, as a Leader of the Year, and all the other awards, Change Maker of the Year, those are really meaningful to me because what allows it allows for is for others to see a path, for others to be able to see themselves, right? For me, it's so moving to know that no matter what's happened to you or where you've come from, you can shine your light, you can lead, you can play big, right? You're not limited by events or circumstances. You're not defined by events or circumstances. And these particular awards are just such a beautiful reminder of that to each and every woman who has heard my story and sees themselves in any part of it. If I can do it, you can do it. So, so meaningful. Really, really grateful for the honors, really grateful for the opportunity to shine my light on an even bigger scale, to impact even more people, to be a light, to be an example, to be a lighthouse, right? It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm grateful.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that. No matter what happens to you or where you're coming from, it is still possible. And she has revealed that possibility to you. Ellie's path, showing everything that has happened to her. She did not say, that's it. She's just grown to show her strength and continue to shine her light on even a global scale. Uh, change maker, being a thought leader, leader of the year, all of these things and beyond. These are just a few that are being mentioned for what she has achieved. So everything is possible for you to. If she can do it, you too can. If she can be a stellar woman, you too can be a stellar woman. So hi, so that was amazing. So do let me know, as a global thought leader who has been honored and recognized that amazing level, a human rights attorney, and also a change maker, business strategist. I know you also run a TV show, all of these things all together. Tell us how the what thread connects all these identities.
Well, for me, I think the thread is really the power of using your voice and standing in your purpose and shining your light, right? Because that can look differently whether you're doing it in law or whether you're doing it in the media or whether you're doing it in books or whether you're doing it in business or whether you're doing it in your family or your community. But at the end of the day, it is what allows you to be you. It is what your voice is what allows you to share your knowledge, to share your passions, to share your heart, to share your message, to be that person that uplifts and inspires and empowers, to be the person that drives change and advocates, to be the person that spreads kindness and compassion, right? It is the way to be the person to drive the change, right? Your voice, your message, your purpose, it's the common thread. And it's the secret sauce for each and every one of us to live that fully embodied life, to do big things, to have big impact. So, yeah,
That's amazing. So our voices here, you are amplifying the word voice and being the actual thread that makes this impact possible. So yeah, so hope women, you are hearing this and you're understanding it is your voice that is going to make everything possible for you to become that change maker that you're called to be, for you to be able to take on, to bring about that impact, that mission that you have been called to do. Oh,
yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
And so often we as women are taught not to use our voice. We're taught to be seen and not heard. We're taught to do as we're told. We're taught to be agreeable and people please and smile and nod and go along and not ruffle any feathers. That's what we're taught. But the magic comes when you're able to break free from that and use your voice. And using your voice doesn't have to mean ruffling feathers, and using your voice doesn't have to mean being mean or nasty or bossy or like all of the negative things that are so often associated with using your voice. Using your voice, ladies, means speak your truth, own your truth, speak what's on your heart, speak what's on your soul. Use your voice. Use your voice.
That's really, really you're always just throwing in these things that I keep thinking, should that just be the focus? I just want to go there. I want to just now focus on the voice. The way you've brought it up, and it's really everything you've said reflects on my own upbringing, really being told not to use your voice, not to speak up. And in Africa, really, we don't talk as girls to adults. It was like you don't reply, you keep quiet throughout the time. And unfortunately, you go on, some of us go on to carry that into adulthood, even in places where you have an opinion, where you know the facts, you don't speak them. Where you are the expert, you still can't use your voice. You feel like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
How many times are we in a meeting, right? Where the person who's leading the meeting actually asks who has ideas or who has input, and you have ideas and you have input because you're the expert, and you don't raise your hand or you don't speak up because you don't want to be judged, or because you might be the only woman in the room and everyone else in that meeting is a man, and all the other reasons. But the power comes when we're able to not care what other people think, when we're able to own our expertise, own our power, right? Own our worth, ladies, own our worth, and use our voice. And just like so many of the other things I've shared, it's a practice. It's
Mm,
a practice. It's not that one day all of a sudden, poof,
mm, mm,
you can stand fully in your power and use your voice and say no when you mean no instead of us saying yes when we really mean no, and then we get resentful or angry or frustrated that we're doing all the things that we're doing these things that we said yes to, but really inside we meant no, right? Like it's a practice, and it's one foot in front of the other and one vocalization at a time. And it's not perfect. There are still days where I think something, but I don't say it, but I really want to say it, but I don't say it because I don't want to be judged, or I know what the other person's reaction would be if I did speak my truth. And I think, oh, I don't want to deal with that, right? Um, but it's 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 a practice that you can implement in ways that feel safe and aligned to you until you build up the confidence, until you build up the security, right? And the comfort in it. So practice giving someone a compliment each day,
mm,
right? How often do we look at somebody and think, wow, that's a really beautiful dress, and we don't say anything,
mm.
right? That's a nice, safe, easy way to start to use your voice. Give someone a compliment each day.
That is very good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you build on it, right? As that becomes comfortable, then use your voice by when you're good at giving compliments, then maybe express a boundary with a friend or with a loved one, someone that you feel comfortable with, someone that you feel safe with, right? And you can say, hey, can we do this particular thing? Or hey, I'd really love if we ate this for dinner,
Mm.
right? Just little things, right? But start to practice, and eventually you'll get to where you'll be the one to raise your hand in the meeting, and you'll be the one to speak your mind, and you'll be the one to say no when you mean no and
Yeah,
not negotiate about it,
yeah,
right? And you'll be the one to say, actually, I prefer this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, those around you won't be comfortable with it to hear you now.
Not officially. They'll think, who is this? Who are you? So, so bit by bit,
Yeah,
it becomes a practice, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think the way you brought it up, it's voice is the power. And that's where we are as women, we give up our power because we are not voicing our own opinion, our thoughts. So we can't even become. But also the fact that you're talking about practice, which is related to what we talked about earlier, the fact that you're giving us these steps, I felt like it's almost giving yourself permission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right?
the small steps with a loved one, someone you're comfortable with. Yeah, it's giving
Yeah.
yourself little permission over and over, and in the end, you'll be the expert. You'll be more comfortable with this situation. Oh, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
that's so important. Like the notion of giving yourself permission is exactly right. Right? It's giving yourself permission to be seen. It's giving yourself permission to be heard.
Yeah,
It's giving yourself permission to have an opinion. It's giving yourself permission to use your voice. It's giving yourself permission to take up space,
yeah,
right? To have a presence and to own that. Yeah. Give yourself permission.
yeah. To take up the space and all that. Wow. That's amazing. That is so powerful, really powerful. Thank you for that. So we want to know also, as a woman who has just come from the awards, Women Changing the World Awards. I'm so sure I was part of it. We're surrounded with these powerhouse stellar women, and the energy was incredible, incredible. But I wanted to know, what was your biggest takeaway from such an environment, from such a community of change makers?
I think my biggest takeaway was that women really are the ones driving change, right? We are the ones innovating. We are the ones leading. We are the ones guiding. We are the ones celebrating each other. We are the ones who are driving change in a way with kindness and presence and empathy and compassion, right? There's a flow versus just a force. There's an allowance that we saw at the awards for women to be who they are and be where they are in their journey. There's magic when women get together. And when they get together and they hold space for I see you, I hear you, I cheerlead you, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
It's magic happens when women come together. The power of presence, the power of community, the power of creating that space, celebrating one another, truly celebrating one another. No judgment, no competition, right? Collaboration, celebration, communication. Yep.
Wow, powerful, powerful, powerful. Yeah, that's so good. Women are the ones who are changing the world, really leading, guiding, and celebrating each other was it's amazing. That is a great space to be in, really. It was magic to see all of these things that you're talking about. The fact that we see you, okay, and I celebrate you, and I'm here to cheerlead your to cheer you on your mission. I'm here not to judge, but to actually just celebrate. That is really powerful. It is amazing for us women to be at this point in time. And sometimes when I reflect so many times on my grandmom, I think about what would she feel like? Why would she be?
Yeah.
How does she look at this today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she could see you now,
Yeah. Yeah, the environment is different. And look at you, I'm talking to you now. Even yesterday, I was like, oh, wow, that was so amazing. You start this, and now you get to speak to women like Ellie, like, oh, just so energizing. Powerful women, change makers who are really driving change and helping others to really get to that same level. Very grateful for what you do. So,
like
very good. So we want to know what inspires you, apart from the fact that we know that you talk about the need for someone to know who we are, what we are, and why are these aspects so important to anyone, woman or man, but especially, of course, to women.
yeah. What drives me is really truly the knowledge that we are here on this earth for a limited time and we don't know how much time we have. And so it's about maximizing that time. It's about living every moment, being in service, walking in purpose, because none of us knows when our time on this planet is up. And I want to know that at the end of the day, I left it all on the field, right? I want to know when it's all over that I lived, not just existed, not just worked to gain and climb a ladder and get accolades and achievements. I want to know at the end of the day that I lived my purpose, that I made a difference, that my life mattered, right? And since we don't know how much time we have, that's my guiding force for every day. How am I living fully? How am I driving change? How am I impacting and uplifting? If today was my last day, would I have lived? Would I have done what I came here to do? And would my life have even mattered? Important questions to ask yourself and to keep in mind, because the one thing that we cannot get back is time. And that realization is what really drives me.
Very powerful, 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 powerful. You can never get back time, but really knowing that you lived fully, you made a change, you impacted someone's life. This is powerful, and that you lived your full purpose. Amazing. So remembering that will be a driving force for anyone, really. Remembering that time is limited and you don't know when it's going to cut you off. You don't know your last second, your last minute.
So
How
be kind, lift others up, right? And if you're newer in your journey, use sticky notes,
Hmm.
journal, ask, write the questions, put it on the bathroom mirror, put it on the inside of the front door before you go out.
Hmm.
How can I make a difference today? How can I truly live today?
Okay, that's amazing. That is really amazing. So whatever it is that you want to know that you have really lived fully today. Fantastic. Now, I know that we've talked about this already, and I just want to know at, at when looking at everything that you do as a global leadership human being, you've led into these councils, advised governments. How do you ensure that you maintain integrity, impact, and also stay aligned to your inner compass, yet you're navigating high stakes here?
Because I don't do anything out of alignment. I won't. So I fire clients who are not in integrity. I refuse to work with people who aren't in integrity. I will uh, say no and walk away. You see, it's easy to lose your integrity and your morality and your inner compass and your alignment when you're driven by the external,
Mm.
right? We kind of talked about that earlier. When you're driven by making money, when you're driven by climbing the job ladder, when you're driven by getting external awards and accolades and being recognized externally, when you are driven by the external, it is very easy to get pulled off course. But when you are driven by the internal, your purpose, making a difference, having your life matter,
Mm.
right? When you have that clear understanding of the nature, the finite nature of time, you don't let anything get in that way. So I don't work with clients I don't like. I don't say yes to opportunities that aren't in alignment, right? All that does is drag me down. All that is torture. Like it's a situation that I would have chosen to put myself in that would cause discord, right? Disharmony, that would be stressful and frustrating and annoying. Why? Those are all signs you're out of alignment.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
I want to live in peace. I want inner peace. And when chaos is happening around me, which it is, which it does, I want to stay in peace. and I want to stay in joy, and I want to stay in kindness and compassion and presence and empathy, right? I want to have an understanding of where people are. I want to stay in the vibration of love for them, and just with that kindness and compassion and empathy, say, not my monkey, not my circus, right? I understand where they are. Where they are does not have to be where I am.
Yeah.
I do not have to let them affect me. And that goes all the way to the choices that I make with clients, with projects,
Mm.
right? I have a publishing house. I turn authors away if they're not in integrity, if they're not in alignment, if their motivation is purely monetary, if they don't have alignment, right? I'll say, I'm sorry, we're not the ones for you. That allows me to protect my peace, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Amazing. That is a good one, really. If you're finding yourself in any situation you're navigating, you'll have to always look at your inner compass. Are you aligned to your core values, to what you want to bring, to real integrity, and be in a position to use your voice to say no, to say no to that client.
Yeah.
Client, especially client. People feel like, oh, I can't lose the client. I can't do anything. So
I mean, here's that. When you think, oh, I can't say no, I can't anger the client, I can't fire the client, I can't walk away from the client, I can't say no to that contract, I need that money, I need that business. Here's the thing. They are taking space. They are taking energy. You only have 24 hours in a day. You cannot make space for the clients that you actually want to work with if you're so busy with the clients that are sucking the life out of you and causing nothing but stress and frustration. First of all, you don't have the physical space, right, on your calendar because you're booked solid. Second of all, you don't have the emotional space, the mental space, right? Third, you're grumpy because you're stressed out and operating in scarcity need, right? We've all been in a situation where you have been in a shop or gone to a conference and they're trying to sell you something, and it you can feel the desperation, you can feel the need because they're so pushy and they're so trying to force you and convince you why you need this thing, right? Does it work? Do you buy it? No. You
yeah,
feel that it's sleazy and slimy and they're desperate and they're needy,
yeah,
and you say no. That's exactly how your ideal clients feel when you are operating in that scarcity, when you're stressed out and overwhelmed and frustrated because you filled your calendar out of a scarcity mindset with all the people that you don't like working with, that you shouldn't have worked with, doing the thing you don't want to do, right? So it's actually counterintuitive. But saying no to those clients that drag you down, that cause you headache, actually creates space for you to say yes to your ideal client. And your ideal client will be much more attracted to you. They'll want to work with you. They'll be able to feel that you're in alignment, that you understand each other, that you are, in fact, the person that can help them.
exactly.
When your energy isn't all screwy because you're stressed out and exhausted and frustrated and annoyed and overwhelmed,
Yeah, indeed.
right?
Yeah.
So say no.
So,
Create the space. And not only will you have more peace, but you'll be able to actually create,
yeah,
to attract more clients, to create more prosperity, to bring in more aligned opportunities.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
can't bring in the right clients and the right opportunities if you're full with the wrong ones.
Exactly, exactly. Fantastic. And definitely, if you are in alignment with the clients, they are giving you the right energy that you need, and
Yeah.
you finish the whole session energized, yet you've been
Yes.
working instead of being depleted.
Yes.
Task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love my clients. I love them. They become like family. They really become like family. And long after, if their life changes or their business changes, we're still in each other's lives. They literally become like family. And when you're working with people like that, it's not even like work. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to help them build their business. I'm so excited to help them write their book. I'm so excited to help them work on their keynote speeches or build out their funnels or their offers or get clear on their messaging. I love getting on the phone with them, the Zoom with them, meeting up with them in person. It's fun. It's energizing.
Amazing.
Makes all the difference.
It does. It does. Once you're in alignment, that is amazing. So there you are. We all understand now the purpose of alignment. And once you're in alignment, you're not going to be depleted. You're going to always be energized to keep going. And that's where we get to know why she keeps doing what she's doing. She's just in
That's how I
alignment.
can do everything I do, right? People always ask me, how in the heck can you do all the things you do?
Exactly.
It's because I love it. I love it. I don't do things that I don't love,
Hmm.
right? And yes, we all need to work and generate revenue and provide for ourselves. But we have options in how we do it. And when we're just starting and maybe we don't have so many options at the beginning. I mean, I worked at fast food restaurants. I worked at a Mexican restaurant. I worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken. I've worked in clothing shops,
Yeah.
right? Like Tempo Casuals and all these things. Like, start somewhere. And sometimes you don't have so many choices. But that goes back to what we talked about earlier with you can always control the controllables. You can always control the language you hold, the meaning you give things, the perspective, the language you use, the meaning you give things, the perspective you hold, right? And so even when I was a server at a restaurant, or I worked in fast food, or I worked in clothing shops,
Yeah.
to me, that was an amazing opportunity to help people in the clothing shop, an amazing opportunity to help people feel good about themselves. It
Amazing.
was an amazing opportunity to practice my listening skills and develop my listening skills. It was an amazing opportunity to develop my communication skills, my negotiation skills, my sales skills, right? So even though I was working selling clothes in a shop in the mall, my perspective about that was what an amazing opportunity I have here. And look at all these skills that I'm able to build. I never looked at it as I'm just working in a clothes shop, right? So even if you're not yet at the place where you feel like you can pick and choose clients or pick and choose opportunities, you can always pick and choose your mental state. You can always pick and choose how you show up and what you bring to the table, right? And that is what will open the door to increased opportunities, future opportunities.
Amazing. Yeah. So we have to change or focus on the choices we have in terms of our language, the controllables, the language and the meaning, yeah, and perspective, things that are going to drive us actually to even show up and to be of good service to those that we are serving, because that moment has something for you, something to learn, whether you are serving in Kentucky Kitchen, you still really you're still really serving. People are
Yeah,
hungry. Yeah,
yeah,
people have want to have a good time. So it's
yeah.
important that you focus on the meaning, change the meaning so that it can bring about a new experience actually for you and for the other person as well on the other side. Yeah. Fantastic. So now I know that you gave a lot of challenges before in the backstory. And I just wanted to know, looking at the business perspective, what is the biggest challenge that you have gone through, and how have you been able to overcome that challenge? I know life may go up, and being the woman that you are, you must have lots of challenges. But if you have one that you feel like this one is special for the stellar, for women to become stellar women, please share it with us.
Well, I think there are two. The first is early in my entrepreneur journey, I made the critical mistake that so many people make of I hired the people that I could afford,
Ah,
not the people I needed.
yeah, yeah.
That's a disaster. That is an absolute disaster. Do not do that. Because what happens when you're new or you're just launching a business or you're just launching a product or an offer is you think, okay, well, I need the website and I need the funnel and I need the email sequence and I need the logo and I need the brand board and I need the colors and I need, right? And so you look at your little bank account because you're just starting with all these things that you need, and the people that are more established that could actually see your vision and bring it to life are outside your budget, right? You're not quite at that position where your revenue supports hiring them.
Yeah.
And so it is a mistake that most of us make where we say, well, I have this much money and I need a web designer, and this person will do it for this little bit of money. Okay, I'll hire them. And then what happens? It looks terrible. It doesn't work. You have to pay someone else to redo it, and then someone else to redo it, and then someone else to redo it. And you end up spending way more money and way more time doing and redoing and doing and redoing and doing and redoing than you would have if you actually had asked yourself this one question.
Yeah.
What is the one thing I need right now to actually move the needle? Because we see how the big names do things. And so we think, oh, we need all of these different things before we can even launch.
Yeah.
And in reality,
Mm.
we don't need any of that. We need a way to tell people, we need to know what we're offering. We need a way to tell them, and we need a way for them to pay. That's it. The rest are bells and whistles that you can grow into, that you can develop over time.
Mm.
So it's so important. Really, all you need in today's day and age, in step one, is you need to know what you're offering and you need a payment link. And that payment link could be on PayPal, it could be on Stripe, it could be on Wise, it could be on any number of platforms that are free,
Mhm.
right? We think we need all these things because that's what we see the successful people having, not realizing they've been in business 10 years or 15 years. They've grown into that, right? Tony Robbins did not start out having 2 million people on an event like he has now.
Yeah.
He had 7 people in a room,
Mm.
right? We don't need the bells and whistles. So I would say my first big mistake is I did all the things, right? I tried to do all the things and then had to do it over and over and over as my offers changed, as my audience changed, as I've changed, right? My business has changed as I've actually launched things and done it and then said, you know what? Didn't love doing that. That wasn't very fun for me. I don't want to do that offer again. Right. But meanwhile, I'd spent all the time and all the money to build out all the things for now something that I did it, didn't like it, don't want to do it again.
Mm.
Right. And included in that biggest mistake I made early in the journey was I tried to do too many different things at once.
Mhm. I did that. Yeah.
Right. Again, a very common mistake for people early in their entrepreneurship journey. You don't launch this and this and this and this, right? You launch one thing, try it, see if you like it, iterate it until it is self-sustaining. When that one offer or that one product or that one service is generating enough revenue to pay its own operating cost, right? Then you can launch a second one. People told me that. I didn't listen. I flushed a lot of money down the toilet. Learn from my mistakes,
That's a good,
right?
yeah. Those are,
Learn from my mistakes. And then reframe failure.
mm,
Notice I say those were mistakes, and now I use them to help you not make them.
yeah.
I never call them failures,
Mm,
right? Because they weren't. I
mm,
call it my education tax,
mm.
right? I call it the cost of my education. All those mistakes, have very costly mistakes that I made early on, right? Now I get to share them with you so that you don't make the same mistake. Because I lost a lot of money and a lot of time making these mistakes, but I learned from them and now I use those learnings to help others.
Amazing. That's very good. Reframing failure. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's this aspect of doing too many things is also very, I was once in that situation as well. And also the first bit that you told us, where you decide that, oh, I can't afford that person. And therefore you go with the one you can afford. And yet there's someone who has exactly the service that you want. And you find yourself still at some point maybe going to them, redoing the work,
Uh-huh.
whatever you had to redo. Yeah. I think it's also the fact that women at some point we just get like we get our eyes open. And then there is this, I can do this, I can do this. So when someone tells you, oh, don't do it, you end up not listening. But as you said, as you go through the whole process, you need to learn, you need experience. But at
Yeah.
times you're like, oh, it's not even working yet. Maybe try this one at this point in time. Then even that one as it's starting out or almost still struggling, you something else comes in and you want to do that as well. And then you're not going to learn anything because all of them don't have your time. You're not getting full experience from them. Yeah,
Yeah. And all of the mistakes that you make and all of the failures, so to speak, guess what? That's what makes you wise.
exactly.
That's what makes you experienced.
Very experienced.
That's what makes me such a good business strategist.
Yeah,
Because when my clients come to me and I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this, I know the questions to ask them because they're the questions that I should have asked that I didn't ask that got me in the messes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And so
Exactly.
now now I'm able to ask them and help them avoid the same mistakes,
Right.
right? So your failures, your struggles, the things that didn't go right,
Yeah,
the things that didn't work out quite the way that you want,
yeah.
they're the things that make you wise.
They're the things that make you wise. Fantastic. Now we want to talk about quickly about your, oh, first tell us about the TV show. What is that TV show about?
Yeah, so I have a TV show called Free by Design. It's
Free.
about, yeah, free. It's about living free by design, right? It's about knowing who you are and what you want. It's
Wow.
about having that clarity and taking that aligned action. It's about giving yourself the permission to play, to experiment, to say no, to grow, to have boundaries. It's really about taking you through this concept of, are you the master of your shit?
Yeah.
Are you in control of your internal, right? Are you truly living or are you just floating down the river of life,
Yeah.
being completely controlled by the external, barely surviving? right? It's about being very intentional and designing the life that you want to live and then living it.
All
And I
right.
have my podcast called You Are Not Your Scars, because ladies, as we have talked about, you are not your events and circumstances. You are not what's happened to you. You are not external labels and expectations. You're none of that,
You're not.
right? I have Creating an Impervious Mind on YouTube. Similar thing, those mindset tips and tricks, right? So you can find it on YouTube. You can find the podcast on Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio or all the things. And the best thing about the living in today's society is that we all have so many free resources right there at our fingertips.
Yeah.
This show, this magazine, right? Resources, inspiration, tools, strategies for free.
Free. Exactly.
Back in the day, there was no such thing as free. Now it's like you can have it on your cell phone, you can have it on your computer. You have unlimited access to all of these incredible tools and resources and strategies and shows and programs that you can use to
Fan-
build the life and the legacy that you want.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. The TV show, it is free by design. And where is that?
You can find it on Apple. You can find it on streaming platforms. You can find it on Verizon Fios and Comcast. It's on different channels depending on the market. But you can always Google it. And then also, I put the replays on my YouTube channel. So you can find it on YouTube either by going to my channel, Ellie Shefi, or by inputting free by design, and you'll see the playlist.
All right, fantastic. So you can really design your life and you're called to actually live it, not just design it, but to live it. And you can also listen to the podcast. Now we want to talk about your as a publishing house. Yeah, I know you help a lot of people. Is it just women to become authors or
It's primarily women. So we are
okay.
an all women team, right? The editors, the formatters, the cover designers, the client success concierge, all of us are women. And it's really our mission to empower women to use their voice, right? To provide this platform for women to use their voice and share their knowledge and share their expertise and share their legacy with the world. And the publishing industry is pretty predatory. And so, I learned that firsthand with the first two publishers that I tried to work with, who tried to take my intellectual property and tried to give me garbage, really just stuff that was so embarrassingly bad. I was like, I'm not putting my name on that. Like, that's terrible.
Mm.
And it's actually why I started my publishing house, so that we can help women in a way that is truly authentic to them,
Yeah.
right? It's your book, not ours. We're not here to change it. It's in a way that we can help you ensure that your intellectual property is protected, that you own it, that you receive 100% of the royalties. It's your book. No one else should be, having a claim to it or taking the money from it. That should be yours. And so we set out to create this publishing house where each and every one of us treats your book as your baby. We understand the gravity of it. We understand the importance of it. We understand that this is your vision and your message and your mission and your legacy and your business and your knowledge and your passions and the messages that you feel called to share. And we take the love and the care, recognizing this is your baby. And we're here to be the book doulas and the book midwives and help you birth that into the world, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and we really look at ourselves like that. We're fiercely protective. We circle around you to make sure, right, that nobody is taking advantage of you, that you own your things, right? That nobody's trying to change your voice or your message. That when other people start chatting in your ear or giving you all their unsolicited advice, we're here to center you and say, but no, your message is your message and it's not for someone to change. We're here to help you bring it forth in the strongest, clearest, most aligned, most strategic way. But it's still your message, your expertise, your knowledge, your passions, your business, your legacy.
Amazing, amazing. That is powerful, powerful. Now we know that you are all these things. What legacy is most meaningful to you?
Mm, I love, love, love the publishing house. I really love, if I could only do one thing besides, just speaking around the world to really empower and uplift, it would be the publishing house. And for me to have this all women team providing this platform, a world-class platform to enable so many women, we have a few men as well, but our focus is women, to build their legacy, to build their business, to share their message and their mission. The ripple effect of that is so incredibly profound, so incredibly profound.
Yeah.
We have a 100% track record that every single one of our books are bestsellers. We
Wow.
have a 100% track record that every single one of our books has allowed the author to achieve the outcomes they wanted, whether that was to build their business or leave their legacy or launch a program or speak on stages to empower and inspire others. Like that's a powerful legacy for me. And I'm so incredibly proud of that. And
Wow.
it is the honor of my life that I get to journey alongside these women.
Yes.
And I get to see their businesses birth. And I get to see their expansiveness because when a woman stands in her power and when she is seen and she is heard and she is understood and her book is out there in the world and it's a bestseller and now all of these dreams she has are coming true. There's a magic that happens. She's more expansive. She holds her head up high. Her chest is back. She claims her space. She walks in her power. She goes forward and she serves.
Wow.
And to be able to witness that
Yes.
is so incredible.
Amazing, amazing, fantastic. So we can see where, but you speak about every business almost the same way. Every part of you is really lifted up. But I love that this is the publishing house. You have a deeper alignment with it, and you're here to help women to really be able to bring their legacies to also live. Yeah, to what they're called to do. That's amazing. So if we look at your whole life, I know we talked about failure, but one of the biggest thing about women and girls not going for their dreams is failure. So apart from reframing, is there anything else that we can do about failure and how people think about failure? Because lots of women, even the prospects have, people can't move forward. And now we're talking about playing big. We can't play big because we are failure. We're worried, concerned about the failure. How can you be able to help us here in this perspective? What do you have to say about it?
Well, as I said, there is no such thing as failure if you learn from it, right? They're lessons. Here's the thing, when a baby starts to crawl or they start to walk and they fall over, do you call them a failure? No, you say, oh, well, they're learning. They're learning. And that baby tries to stand up and walk and they fall. And they try to stand up and they walk and they fall. And this goes on and on and on. It's not like They fall one time and then they're walking or running or crawling. They try, it didn't work. It tried, it didn't work. They try, it didn't work. They try, it didn't work. And then one day it does, right? So there's no such thing as failure. You keep going, you keep learning. The biggest thing is to show yourself grace, right? To speak to yourself the way that you would speak to that child,
Mm.
right? We speak so harshly to ourselves. We judge ourselves so harshly with these labels of failure or not good enough or all of that nonsense, right? But the things that our little internal dialogue says to us, we would never, ever say to that child. And if we saw somebody speaking to a young child the way we speak to ourselves, we would intervene.
Yeah.
We would say, "Well, you don't speak to them like that. What are you doing?" And so when you're navigating failure, I would invite you to remind yourself
Yeah.
of that young child
Yes.
and to speak to yourself the same way you would speak to that young child who was trying to walk,
Mm.
with kindness, with compassion, with encouragement, right?
Exactly.
To get back up. You will be knocked down at times. Newsflash, we're human. I call it humaning. One of my favorite sayings when something is not quite going right, or when there's a little moment where you're being jostled, or you get frustrated, or you're not quite in alignment, congratulations, we're humaning,
Humaning. Yes. Yes.
right? There's no beating ourselves up. It's not guilt, it's not blame, it's not shame,
Yeah.
it's not judgment.
It's humaning.
It's we're humaning. Like,
Okay.
like none of us is perfect. We're
Yes.
on the human journey,
Yeah.
this journey of growth, this journey of learning,
Yeah.
this journey of becoming. So just as that young child is on their journey to go from laying there to scooching to crawling to standing up to walking to running, we're on that same journey.
Them Johnny. Fantastic. Thank you. Now, when we look at, you talked about Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is always about a massive action.
Massive action.
And when we talk about playing big, women starting to play big and moving away from just playing small. I'm thinking about what massive action, Kaizen approach, which is smaller steps. And so what is your view about this?
Well, action is massive action.
Any action is massive action.
Action is massive action,
That's
right? It
inspiring.
what Tony means, because I have been a Tony Robbins Platinum partner. I've been in Tony's world for, 40 years. He's a great mentor of mine and one of my favorite people on the planet. Um, Good egg, good solid man. But when he says to take massive action,
Yeah.
what he means, what he's actually the underlying is you decide, you commit, you act. So true action is massive action. What's not action is like, well, maybe I'll try it, or let me just see, or I don't know. I guess I could put it on the list and maybe I'll get to it next week. Right? That's not action.
Yeah.
Decide what you want, be very clear in the outcomes.
Mm.
Here's the other mistake that people make. They say, oh, I can't take action because I don't know the steps,
Yeah.
right? So it's that old saying about you don't need to see the whole staircase
Yeah. Yes.
to take one step.
Yeah.
So many people stop themselves from truly taking action because they say, I need the whole plan.
Yes.
I need the whole plan before I can act. I need to map it all out. I need to know how the whole thing is going to work. And then when something doesn't work, the whole plan explodes because you needed this part to do this part to do this part. And then comes the judgment and failure and guilt and shame and blame cycle, as opposed to the way a GPS works. A GPS only needs to know where are you starting and where do you ultimately want to be.
Mhm.
And then it takes you on your journey. And if a roadblock comes up, there's an accident, a road is closed, it goes rerouting and it takes you a different way to get to the same outcome. We are the same as the GPS. And so what Tony says when he says take massive action is know where you are, know the outcome that you want, the destination, and take one action toward it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because when you take that one action, the next action will become clear.
Exactly.
You don't need to plan it out,
Mm.
right? Because it's going to change. Circumstances are going to change. And if you're so set on, well, this is step one, and this is step two, and this is step three, and this is step four, that rigidity, that fixation on the path that you have created is what gets in the way. But if you know where you are and you know where you want to be, and every day you just take one aligned action to move the needle
Yeah.
toward the thing that you want, then you're able to still be flexible and navigate as things change. But you'll always be making progress toward the thing you want. So that's what he means with massive action, is it's decide on what you want, commit to it.
Yeah.
You are committed to achieving that outcome and take one action that moves the needle towards your desires.
Fantastic, fantastic. And this is something that will help the indecisiveness of us women, really. We love to be in that position. So you've really and it's the fear of the failure and then brings in decision and then you never
Yeah.
become. You never get to have anything or even experience the life that you want to experience. Everything requires you to decide, commit, and take action. And that is massive action. Period. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
Fantastic. We have there. Now, as we want to go back to your lifetime, if you were to go back in time and you met your 15-year-old self, what key message would you like to share with her?
Buckle up. Because she had no idea what was heading her way.
Mm.
No, I would let her know, trust, right? Have faith, trust in the process.
Mm.
It'll all be okay. And you're worth it and you matter, right? Your voice matters, your life matters, you matter.
Mm.
So trust in yourself, trust in above, have faith, stay the course, know that you're worth it, and know that you matter, and it'll all be okay.
It will be all okay. Ah, it's so sweet, so kind for her. Oh, it will be all okay. She just needs to trust in the process, have faith, know she's worth it, and that her voice matters, and she does matter. Yeah, that is really, really sweet. Now, if we have to ask you again as well, we have Stellar Woman attributes that we always want to know from our stellar women. What are those attributes you believe make a stellar woman?
Integrity, authenticity, alignment, clarity, vision, honesty, communication, kindness, empathy, compassion, and love.
Wow. Fatigue and love. So there we are. We have integrity, authenticity, alignment, clarity, vision, honesty, communication, kindness, empathy, and love. Wow. So we need all of this to really become a stellar woman. So there you are. That you cannot fail on this. We want to also ask you, what has surprised you most about life?
How strong I am.
Okay.
Life has life. We
Ah,
talked about it at the beginning. I mean, life has life between abuse, rape, domestic violence, homelessness, 20 years in hospitals, 14 major surgeries, cancer, poverty, you name it. Life is life. And the fact that I'm unstoppable and unbreakable, right? I'm over 50. So back in my day, in my childhood, there were these little toys, and they were the size of an egg, and they were shaped like an egg, and they had little weighted like sand or something on the inside of it, and they were called Weebles. And the tagline for the toy was Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
okay. We
So I
both
like to think of myself as a Weeble.
we both wobble as
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down.
that. They don't. Okay.
So, meaning that you may wiggle, you may get jostled around a little bit, right? You may wobble,
Yeah.
you may feel like everything is spinning and you're getting knocked around, right? Like you're the universe's punching bag. Sometimes it feels that way with all the events and circumstances that are coming. And you say, okay, okay, I've had enough. Yeah, you can stop now. So you may feel like that, but knowing that when you know who you are and whose you are, you won't fall down.
Yeah.
You may blip,
Yeah.
but you'll regain your center. You'll stand back up
Yeah.
and you'll keep going. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, right? Breathing in and breathing out.
Amazing, amazing. That's some big surprise. Talking about the fact that you're a strong woman. It's a real fact with everything. 14 major surgeries, 20 years in hospital.
Yeah, in and out. I was hospitalized every month pretty much for 20 years, and they would tell me, "Oh, you won't survive the night, or you only have a week to live, or 2 months to live, or whatever." And I'm still here, so they can suck it.
Was that
You know,
cancer? Is that when you
no, it was a bunch of other things leading that were the result of the domestic violence and the lifetime of abuse and rape and all of the effects of that within our body. Now we know about nervous system. Now we know about the biochemical effects that trauma has. Now we know about the way that when you live in constant fight or flight and you live in trauma and you have all these things, how the body keeps score, body holds on, and how all of the dis-ease, right? The diseases manifest as a result of that. Obviously, back then, we didn't quite understand all of that. Now it's discussed more widely, and we have a much deeper understanding on the critical role of your nervous system. And, that reinforces the importance of things that we talked about earlier with standing guard at the gate of your mind, controlling your controllables, protecting your peace, watching your focus, right? Where focus goes, energy flows. to master the language that you use, the perspectives that you hold, to walk in faith, to walk in gratitude. All of these things that we talked about so far also have a really amazing effect on your biochemistry, on your nervous system, right? So they're pretty powerful, not only for just your mind, but for your body. And so, like I said, my life has life and things have happened. But the thing that really has surprised me is really just how unbreakable I am, how unshakable I am, how resilient I am, how I get back up every single time life has tried to knock me down, and I get back up stronger and more loving and more kind and more compassionate and more empathetic and more present and more driven, right?
I want to know how
And
is that? What is in your hard soft drive? The hard drive, because the wiring in there is producing the woman you are. Because
yes.
after everything you've gone through, you're still speaking in a different way. That's not the language of the person who has gone through what you've gone through.
Like I said earlier, I built this person, right? One day at a time. And through my sticky notes, through the pieces of paper that I would carry around, I trained myself, right, to be like this. I wired my neural pathways to be like this.
Wow.
They weren't like this, 30 years ago. I
Wow.
trained one moment at a time, one decision at a time, one reframing at a time, one sticky note at a time, one note to myself at a time, one practice at a time. And that is why I absolutely know that if I can do it, each and every one of you can do it.
There you are. You're giving us that permission. Your story is really enabling and empowering us to become more, to the way you're talking about being stronger and being kinder. When you get through, people just go into the negative vibes and everything. Yeah, the language changes, but you just still speak at a higher level of frequency, really. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ellie. And we want to know what is coming up for Ellie in the next 5 to 10 years. What
I'm gonna
is the
I'm
plan?
going to keep speaking. I'm going to keep speaking. I will continue to speak on global stages. I will continue to speak life into you. I will continue to lift you up and empower you with tools and strategies and practices that you can use. I will continue to shine my light. I will continue to show up and stand up and speak up and be a lighthouse for what is possible. I will continue to be your permission slip so that you can give yourself to walk in your purpose. I will continue to run my beloved publishing house and empower so many women around the world to share their message and their legacy and their life and their business and their genius with the world to help them stand in their life and their legacy. I will continue to be a strategist and to help women in particular to build their business and the life and the legacy that they desire. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, just doing it even more and even bigger and on an even grander scale. I'm gonna keep living, I'm gonna keep dancing, I'm gonna keep playing, I'm gonna keep loving, and I'm gonna keep shining my light.
Oh, amazing. I am going to continue to be all of these things. I love it all. But one thing I wrote down, the permission slip. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Your whole story is giving us permission. It's really giving us permission, giving me permission, and I'm going to be meditating on it. I have lots of notes, lots of notes. Although this is recorded, I still had to write down these notes because your story is powerful, your language is powerful, it's empowering. it makes us, enables us to be, and you're here for all women to become, to live their lives and to live their full legacies. Do you have a life mantra?
Well, life happens for me, not to me, is one cr critical mantra for me. The other is that change your story, change your life,
Okay,
right?
fantastic.
And
That's a good one.
that's when I might have a little moment, a little blip of a spiral and old programming. It reminds me that I am empowered to change my story. And when I change my story, I change my life. And that reminds me about to be mindful and to choose wisely the language that I'm using, the meaning I'm giving things, the perspective that I'm holding, right? So uh definitely life happens for me, not to me. Change my story, change my life, control the controllables, and of course, not my monkey, not my
Not
circus.
my circus. Fantastic. Not my monkey, not my circus. And in terms of your life morning routine, is there a morning routine that you have?
There is. I have a beautiful worship playlist that I have created with the songs that really center me and give me life, that speak into me. It is very important for me. I tend to hit the ground running in the morning, but I wake up and I start that playlist and I sing along and I listen and I infuse myself with those vibrations and that frequency. And I make sure that I'm walking and starting in gratitude and in faith. And then I make my coffee and take my vitamins and do all of that kind of thing. But I start every day with my worship playlist and I end every day with um with some mantras and chanting. Another playlist that I have where I'm really able to go into a meditation as I sleep. And so for me, starting the day with gratitude and faith and ending it in meditation as I doze off to sleep are really the two most important bookends for me.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, Ellen. Now, before you leave, we want to ask you, I know this has been awesome, really. It is a life masterclass, a business masterclass, it's everything. For you women, if you have to take this away, I don't know if you're going to learn one or two things. I have just so much to learn, but I'm so sure that something will change in your life. Now, we want to ask you to leave the Stellar Women readers, subscribers, a challenge to help them to play big in this world. What challenge would you leave them?
Write your eulogy, and you're going to write two of them.
My goodness. Okay.
The first eulogy you are going to write is the eulogy that will be spoken over you when you have lived your life best lived. That means you have done everything you want to do. You have shown up and played big, and you have shown up fully, and you have served in all the ways that you want to serve, and you have lived every moment in its fullest, and you have left it all on the field. Write the eulogy that will be spoken over you and about you, about your contribution, about your legacy, about how you showed up in the world, about what you did, about your relationships, about your family, about your friendships, really the legacy that you are leaving behind. What is that eulogy? And after you have written the eulogy from that life best lived, I want you to be really honest with yourself and write your eulogy that they would give if you died today.
Okay.
And I want you to notice the difference between the two.
Okay.
The clarity that you will get from the difference between leaving it all on the field and where you are today will be your roadmap. It will be your fuel, and it will be the swift kick in the rear end that you need to play big, to take that massive action, to be seen, to be heard, to give yourself permission to take up space, to be you and use your voice and stand in your power and shine your light. That gap that you will notice if you're honest with yourself when you do this exercise will be the fuel that you need to be unstoppable and unbreakable.
Fantastic. Now we get to know why you are unstoppable and unbreakable. Those are the two tasks that you need to write your, it's one task broken down into two to write your eulogy into two parts. One of them is being your life best lived. Yes, what it will be like and everything that they will say upon your death. And the next one is being honest with yourself and writing it today. Today. If you went today, if you had to go today, and then the clarity is the gap between the two.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One of the most powerful exercises you can do. And make sure you do it because you're worth it.
Oh my goodness. It is going to be, it's a bit scary. I'm already scared about it, but we're
It's
here.
a little intimidating and it's so, so worth it. And after you do it, connect with me. Connect with me on social media and tell me
What it
your gap.
is.
Tell me what your aha and takeaway was. Tell me what you learned. Tell me what you realized. Because it will be the most profound exercise of your life if you're really honest with yourself and you play full out. So let me know. I want to hear about it.
It's fantastic, fantastic. It relates to, I think also, is it highly effective people? I think it's given as one of the bits of it is given. And it shook my whole system. And even now writing down this, I feel like okay, this is scary. It's so intimidating. But I'm sure we're going to go through it. And for all our listeners, we are going to have to just do this because this is the only way in which we can move to live truly, to be unstoppable, to be unbreakable, to become the stellar women, to really play big. We need to find this gap and this space that we need to fill up. So where do people find you, Ellie?
So you can find me online. My website is my name, ellieshefi.com. That's also all my social media handles. So you can find me on the web, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, Ellie Shefi. And if you would like some practices and some resources, there's a ton that are free on my website. So if you've liked some of these practices and tools and resources I've given you, go help yourself. Just go take them. There's a big button that says free resources. Help yourself. That's what they're there for.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And thank you so much, Ellie, for giving us all this time, sharing generously and empowering and enabling women to become more and to do more, to have more, and to be able to live fully and live their life to their fullest, to be able to play big. This is our play big theme, and it has been myself, Stella Olivia Kikoyo, your editor-in-chief of the Stella Woman magazine, and Ellie Shefi, and Ellie is many things as you have all got to know, and you just need to go onto the website. Can you say the website again, Ellie, please?
Yes, it is ellieshefi.com. So that's ELLIESHEF like Frank, I, ellieshefi.com.
EllieShefi.com, and you can find Ellie Shefi as well on all social media platforms with the same name, nothing else, isn't it? Oh, fantastic. This is going to be so easy for all of you. And she's many things, as we have had an award-winning author, bestseller, speaker, attorney, advisor, government strategist, consultant. What haven't we learned? I don't know, Ellie. We are just so grateful dreadful. So we are here to bring you these amazing Stellar Women stories, these women who are shaking up, but they are also sharing you with the strategies. Don't forget to do the challenge. Don't forget to do the challenge and play big. Until next time, we love you. Bye-bye.